Hi, it's Surinder. I thought I'd read you a story that I wrote and read a couple of weeks ago at Pour One Out at Volumes BookCafe. I hope you enjoy it. I've been thinking a lot about home recently, and I have two of them. I've been thinking a lot about who I am when I'm in each place, that I'm different depending on where I am and who I'm with. And this isn't just about who I think I am, it's who I am here and who I am now and who I am wearing these clothes or those clothes, or who I am when I'm with you in another country, the other home, the one really far away from here. And home to me smells like sunshine and eucalyptus, sugarcane fields burning and the ocean. It smells like spices cooking in my mum's kitchen and fresh laundry hung outside in the sunshine. It's the air just before it rains, sunscreen and bug spray, and how your skin smells after you've sat outside in the sun for a little too long, and it smells like hot air and dust and feels like hard-packed earth and the brown grass that's been baking in the sun, and it's crunchy and there's nothing green left and everything is muted shades of dull green, brown and grey, and you think everything is dying or already dead. It's so hot that the power lines sag to touch the street and the asphalt is melted from days and days of unrelenting oppressive heat, and you don't ever remember the last time it rained. When there's absolutely no relief and you run out of water in the tanks and the back dam is a desert of cracked earth and sadness just before the fires start. The gum trees come alive, suddenly woken from their slumber, releasing eucalyptus scent and bursting forth with fluffy and yellow and white flowers. The wild orchids like the heat as well. The kookaburras, they don't care. And at dawn and at dusk they laugh at us, and they laugh at us as if to say, "You strange, flightless birds, why don't you just fly away?" But we can't, because this is our home. And so we wait for rain. The thunderstorms roll in, darkening the sky with wind and sound and light and nothing else. The deafening sound of cicadas Doppler around the house, singing their songs in the dry grass and dust. The cacophony of silence. You would never know it was so loud out in the bush. City people think that the country would be so quiet and peaceful, and how wrong you really are. The bush is usually so loud, but when it's dry as a bone and thirsting for any hint of moisture, the hush seems like a threat. Each time the sun rises, the birds remain quiet, too thirsty to call. You know, no rain is on the horizon. It's home still, and you make your plans for the inevitable fire, and you decide you'll fight fiercely for your home when the fire does come. And you bring the animals inside, and you get the long hose out, and you use what little water you have left to wet down the house to keep the sparks from catching. And as the winds change and the fire front swings around to face you, animals and insects stream out of the bush towards you, the only safe port in this firestorm. Everything is a tinderbox and there's nowhere left to go, and the banksias burst their seed pods and the gum trees sizzle. Fire sometimes makes new life possible. A wet hanky across your face and tears streaming from your eyes. Eucalyptus fires are the worst. The hardwood smolders for days without any visible flame, and then the wind picks up and everything is awash in a sea of dancing red and orange. And then one hint of moisture and everything springs back to life in a riot of verdant green and fornicating frogs. The ground was so dry that the sudden water just washes over the earth without really sinking in. The water tanks are full, but underneath the earth is still bone dry. Don't let the lascivious calls of horny cane toads tell you different. No amount of rain will break this drought 20 years in the making. Waters fill dams, streams, rivers, the massive flow with nowhere to go, washing out roads, and now the ferry is tied to the banks and the bridge is out and there's no way around, and you're stuck at home without parental supervision because they get the message too late that all the roads are closed. But after a few days, the earth soaks up the water, and now the heat is different. The sudden humidity makes it hard to breathe, and the washing never quite gets dry on the line, and it feels like swimming when you're walking, and you start to sweat straight out of the shower, but you can have a shower now because at least you have water. But everything has come back to life, and new growth bursts forth from the ashes. This home is a study in contrasts, a maelstrom of mixed emotions and conflicting states. And I think this conflict has shaped my being. And it's not like that here. home here is different, not quite so stark in its contrast. Or maybe it is summer, winter, back there, wet, dry. This is the place that I've lived the longest in my life, the place that I've built my life and my community, the family that I have chosen. Home here is a choice, and it's the feeling of electricity just before it snows and everything covered in white and the hush that falls upon the world. The metallic taste of the air after a heavy snowfall and the crunch when soft snow freezes a bit after a few days. And I remember the first time I saw it snow, and it was really just a flurry. But I ran outside in my too thin clothes and danced about childlike in my happiness, catching snowflakes on my tongue and trying to hold them in my hands to see, really see if every snowflake is different. And home is bagels and cream cheese and packet apple cider, my first ever American meal. And home is wood floors and vanilla scented candles and summer by the lake. And this large body of fresh water doesn't smell like the ocean, but it sometimes looks like the ocean if you were looking at it sideways through sunglassed, squinted eyes. I can almost forget sometimes. And while home here is different, it smells like spices cooking in my kitchen. And sometimes when it's humid, I forget that one country isn't like another, and there's a certain color of sky that tricks me into believing I'm somewhere where I'm not. And the birds don't sound the same, but that's okay, because at least they're not laughing at us. But I wonder who I am in this place, and if when you look at me and you're with me, what do you see? Am I different here? Am I different there? And who are the only people that have seen me in all of these places? And maybe that's why I love you, that you see me wherever I am, and to you I'm always me, but to me I'm always different, and sometimes I feel like an outsider and an imposter, and yes, I know there's a name for that. Changing my identity, changing my skin to suit the situation, a chameleon, if you will, if you were looking at me sideways through sunglassed, squinted eyes. And here, well, I've got an accent, and you don't really know what I am, but you know I'm not from here, and you love to hear me talk, but I wonder if you're really listening to what I have to say, and you probably think I'm English or from New Zealand. I am whatever I think you need me to be, or whatever I think I need to be at that moment. I'm Australian when I'm here, I'm American when I'm there, or maybe I'm still Australian, but I'm not really Australian because I don't really look Australian, or so I've been told. And I don't really sound Australian anymore. Yes, I know you think I sound Australian, but trust me, Aussies don't. But also, I've never really been told what an Australian is supposed to look like, and no one can tell me what it is either, but you probably know that it's not me. And all of this to say is that I'm split, and my home is in two places, and I'm from neither and both at the same time. I'm a bridge.